Welcome to UCC. My name's Gabe.
My name is JJ.
I'm Antone. And it's Hobby.
Today, we're talking about some pretty controversial stuff. So, LA Times came out with a little article piece that had a very big claim on a lot of companies that are in California. And the claim was a lot of the pesticides that California tests for are not testing for a lot of the very harmful ones. So they did a bigger panel test. This is all claimed. And they received that there were more pesticides that were being left behind that were extremely harmful that were just not being tested for. And that's kind of the topic that we're talking about today.
Yeah, man, it's extremely, like you said, controversial. There's also, companies coming out, one that I know in particular, saying, that they might have an agenda. The LA Times might have an agenda coming out with this information that is, like, where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Possibly false. You said, one strain earlier, it was a Flavor Aid product
Company.
on there. Yeah. And they had a strain that you said didn't even exist.
Sunset Sherbet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, Sunset
collab
Sherbet,
with
No-Till King that
No-Till King,
that they
right.
never release. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's off of that article. Now they edited it out. It's like, what's going on there? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That brings up questions and concerns. You know what I mean? To where it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, Avi.
Who's the truth?
What do you think? What do you think the initiative behind LA Times would be to post something like that? Like, do you think that there is an agenda? Like he mentioned that there might be. What do you think would be? Or how do you think it would affect the companies that are in play right now?
Well, considering that I asked this question earlier too, what the consensus was is like, because I was curious, honestly, and I do believe that there could be an agenda for sure. There's a lot of players and there's a lot of money in the industry. Mm-hmm. So, like the fact that there might be other motives and like other, I guess, behind the scenes moves in the industry is like definitely like it could be a truth for sure. There's a high percentage that's true. So the fact that they did this and only did certain companies, that's already a question in itself. Like why were no other big name brands covered or other brands in the state? Mm-hmm. That's a big controversy too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. In my opinion, I think it's like, what if Big Pharma is going in and taking out some of the highest quality in one swoop, and that just because they didn't make the first swoop, they just take out a lot of the people that have really made a unique splash in the culture? Because cookies has gone a little bit more commercialized, in my opinion, where they're not as quite a small batch niche farmer. You can still get really good cannabis from cookies, but in my opinion, there are a lot of cultivators and cultivars that are a little bit more diverse and acclaimed.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at like No-Till King, 710. Those are just some that I've really enjoyed the product that they've been putting out.
710 Labs.
Yeah, 710 Labs. So in my opinion, I think it could be, what if like Big Pharma's doing swoops of like, alright, Schedule 3's coming in, we need to get some of these cats out of here that have the highest grade of what they're doing, because it did involve no-till. Like the ones that they were proclaiming ended up having like pesticides was like no-till, but no-till is one of the most infamous for having some of the highest grade organic living.
Pesticide free.
Yeah, like SoCal organic certified, right?
Mm-hmm.
which is really tough to do in California. California
it's
takes a
legitimate.
lot of their regulations very seriously. So that's why it's also another controversial topic, in my opinion, when you look at how rigorous California on most consumption formats, like when you look at red dye, vape consumption. There's a lot of other laws that California is very in particular on the method of consumption and what's being utilized in those products and what that translates to. So in my opinion, I think that LA Times could be doing a little bit of some shady work, and it makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
Like if a big pharma comes in, takes out some of the highest grade, makes it a little bit easier to blend into the market when it's all mids. And it's already starting to get to that point of a lot of cannabis out in the market is mid. You have to know what you're looking for if you want gas. And that's sad.
Education.
Yeah,
You
education.
gotta be educated, honestly.
But not very many people know. You know, they think that cannabis is all very similar. And that's where hopefully we can shine some light on it. But I'm a big conspiracy theorist. That's what I think.
Yeah,
That,
I wouldn't even say that's a conspiracy. Like that's a plan. Like that's a full on. That could be a plan for sure. Like
Yeah,
I get that the conspiracy part is like, oh, it maybe, you know, like
maybe.
That's an
sounds-
agenda.
Yeah,
That's a
that sounds very, very realistic.
So that's my opinion on it. That's what I think probably is happening in the woodworks, is they're trying to clear space for them to be able to make room for more commercialized cannabis and not small farm, small batch. You know, start initializing. It's the same thing that happened to big agriculture. You know, it's, if you go to a farmer's market, a million times better. Just a little bit more expensive, right?
Yeah.
But it's a weird situation that we're in right now in the space where they're trying to enter, especially rescheduling cannabis, in my opinion. Of course the government wants a piece of the pie a little bit more, so rescheduling allows for more research, to allow bigger bandwidths for the companies to be able to search and study a little bit more of the plant, which then initializes more states to open it up, and then hopefully the United States just releases and decriminalizes. That would be the best.
Right.
That would be ultimate.
Yeah.
If they just decriminalize and it's looked at as a tomato plant. That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah,
Go to farmers markets for cannabis.
that'd be
Oh,
beautiful.
that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that's like
Grow your own.
that's utopia.
Yeah.
That's a utopia. Legit. So like one thing that I'm thinking about is like what do you guys so okay, let me reroute this. Sorry, I'm pretty lit too. So so in your eyes, what do you think this article could like how it could influence, say, a beginner in cannabis or a cannabis curious person? Like, how do you think that article could impact them?
Like someone who has a very low education on cannabis.
Yeah, just a newcomer.
It definitely could sway like what they're gonna pick easily because they don't know anything. If you don't know any better, like you see that article and then you
see LA Times
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, they're pretty they're legit.
yeah, so then you go off that and you're like, oh, okay, oh my gosh, and you see all that whole list and you're like, oh, well, if I go to a dispensary in California, I'm not going to buy any of that. So that already will affect like those companies' sales. Just with new people.
Very true. Just like Gabe said, dude, like that's the first step. Those plans that, you know, fucking big money, big pharma do, like, or that they plan, like, it's like there's steps in them, you know, and it's not all just like, holy shit, like the cannabis industry is fucking blown up and it's like it's gone, you know, like, oh, here comes big pharma. Like, it's like there's steps.
Yeah.
They're doing these things in little tiny changes, so that it's like people get, you know, people are gonna question, but like a lot, like what matters is the people that are gonna start to try cannabis.
Yes.
Because that's really where the big thing is at. Honestly, I feel like that's a big part, and that they're one part of their agenda is probably to strike fear in newcomers on trying even legal cannabis, which could have a whole downturn on the whole industry because of California's because of their influence on the cannabis market worldwide.
Yeah. California is infamous for having some of the highest quality cannabis for years. And you don't get those titles by using shitty products. Fire in, fire out is a common thing that we say in UCC. Is you have to put fire into your product, and that's not only just good material, but that's good energy. That's good environment for your plant to grow in. Making sure that like the energy that is given to the plant is healthy as well. That's why some of the like Flavor Aid in particular, that man, in my opinion, he does a bunch of collab work. Collab work, in my opinion, is some of the most unique and beautiful because it's trying to make other people shine too.
Right.
You're just using like your method, your processee to help the other cultivars
and grow
process
the market.
material and grow the market and bring notoriety to people. So Flavor Aid in particular is why I think that he has a really cool initiative behind his brand, and he got thrown kind of under the bus during this whole escapade. In my opinion, when you do work like that, it shows a lot of ethics behind who you are as a person. Not very many companies to do any kind of collab work, and that's because they don't need the profit weirdness and the profit exchange happening. That's unfair, because that's like the biggest deterrent for companies to work with each other is they're not getting the full piece of the pie anymore, right?
Yeah.
But he's all collab work. It's like all he does. You know, that's sick. Super cool. Super cool.
So a lot of people know his style of growing. They know that
His method of extraction.
Oh, is that what he does?
Yeah, Flavor Aid is method of
Oh, that's right.
extraction.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about no till, but no. Like one thing that that you think about is, you know how they posted that one of their products was it failed like the pesticide test, and then it's like obviously they showed the proof that it's like not, because it's like for that specific one, like that was a collab with No Till Kings, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like the fact that they got that wrong, like can also kind of pertains to the fact that it's just like maybe they just bullshitted this whole thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just like
it makes the whole thing illegitimate.
yeah. Like it's like the fact that it's like
So let me explain that really quick for the people. So there, I think we did a little bit, but it was the Sunset Sherbet from No Till that they ended up trying to highlight. That was the strain that you're talking about right now.
okay, yeah.
That strain wasn't even a collab that they ended up doing with each other. So that strain never came to market at all. And then that's what got removed from the list that got pretty much berated. Which is really weird. Really weird that they would have anything that's not out on market.
And you know that list is gonna do something. You
Yeah,
know,
it's gonna sway some
influence.
votes.
It's gonna influence some people, like you said, the newcomers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you put an emphasis on that, but it even influenced us to be like, hey, is this crazy or is this bullshit with the Flavor Aid coming out?
Yeah, because we love Flavor Aid. We've had a bunch of their strains. The
We're like,
Mimosa
what?
was probably one of my favorite, like, off-rip, probably one of my favorite cards I've ever had in my life. I could rip that Mimosa nonstop, dude.
Yeah,
It was
so
so tasty.
Flavors.
So good. So good. But, yeah, I don't know. It's controversial in that sense of, like, I don't fucking know if a pesticide would have a residual flavor or not. So grown really well, right? Who knows? This is where
It just comes into. I don't think it does influence flavor at all. It just comes into the testing. You know what I mean? And they still have some sort of a negative effect on you. You know?
Yeah.
Like there was some brain-eating amoeba
that was one of
pesticide
them,
or some
yeah.
shit.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the
I
fuck?
think I read that.
I don't know.
I
but
haven't
that
heard
shit's
nobody
scary.
going derp
Off.
Off
cannabis.
the perp.
Never heard
off
of
the
it.
perk.
Derp off the perp.
Never heard of it.
I think there's still zero.
Crazy off
Yeah.
the hazy.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen?
Loco off the coco. Oh, that's something else. No.
That's crazy. Loco del Coco. What? Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry, dog.
But it's unique. It's really unique.
It is.
Mind if I get a drag off of that?
We're gonna pass the golden gun around right
The
now.
golden goose.
The golden goose.
Golden Goblin, dude.
The gold saver.
I like the Golden Goblin.
Goblin?
Golden Goblin.
I do like the golden goblin.
You know what I
That's
call
a
it?
nice one.
The Jabberwocky. Because it puts your head on the floor and makes it spin.
I do like. And now it's the golden.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's put me on my ass. Like that's
Ever been
for
that thing
sure.
at work?
No,
I was
it's
like, no, like when I hit it at work. A couple times I was like, holy shit.
Like, damn.
Sometimes it does take your breath away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man,
It's a
hello.
lot.
Oh, it gets me sometimes too. Like I'll take a big rip.
It's like a storm.
Yeah.
Good old cannabis, man.
Go Ken.
Good
old
old
cannabis.
We're not smokers.
Nope.
They're not. I am. I'll admit it. Yeah.
It's a prank. It's
It's
a
a
prank.
vape, dog.
It's a prank. It's a prank.
It's a vape.
It's
I know.
a vape.
The Golden Goose can't be anything else but a vape.
Yeah.
Right.
Golden Goblin, Golden Lightsaber.
Golden Jabberwocky.
It's golden.
It's gold.
It's golden.
Went from purple to gold, guys.
But back to topic. Back to topic.
Okay.
It really is unique to see how the industry is responding. To see the companies have a rebuttal of like, hey, we have California regulation that we're going off of. No product has been recalled from this.
The CDC.
Yeah, the CDC has done no recalls. They double test their products for pesticides from here on out. So there are companies stepping up to the plate to ensure that we feel comfortable with what's being given to us, which is really cool to see because as we know, state testing is not cheap.
No.
It's not cheap, but you can do it. You can do it for sure, and it's no big deal. You just double send a batch into testing. So it's not hard for them to do. It's just another step for them to do, but they're willing to do it. So huge shout out to the California companies that are going through it.
And you know what? Those are the ones that are gonna survive. The ones that just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we all know, like, the black market has been around for decades now. Decades. And prior to that, cannabis has been with humans for thousands of years. So it's like, one way or other, it's gonna progress. It's
Yeah.
gonna keep going.
Hey, and it gets back to like shout out to Green Bodie, Mass Medical, pushing land races, getting genetics back to restabilize, stop hermaphroditing, and having like hopsick, HPLVD disease. There's so many different variants that the
What's that?
Yeah, what they
What is that?
So it's a disease that is now being found in seeds, and it's due to bad. So let's say that you have a plant inside of your mother room that has root rot, and it ends up turning into a mold in its spores, and it contaminates the rest of the plants. You can have one plant turn your entire seed bank bad, and they've had seed banks do it. I think I'm brain farting on the geneticist that just recalled all of his seeds because he's a very notable geneticist, but he found HPLVD in his seeds and he did a huge recall on all of them. It's really crazy. And then hopsick disease is mainly from like unsterile facilities having like bad piping. So when you're using a bunch of minerals and nutrients to feed your plants, the water lines in them, if they don't get changed or properly cleaned out, they end up creating a biofilm, and that biofilm can be a host for a lot of bacteria. So that's another disease that ends up transpiring to plants.
Right.
Wow, dude.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's unique. It's really unique. So seeing the people paying homage to restabilizing the genetic is really, really cool. I love seeing the Afghani bull riders. I love seeing like all of your Vietnamese blacks, Thai stick coming back, lemon Thai coming back, all these really cool genetics like King's Pupil having the 78 Affy that Wes got his hands on some beans in the vault. So like it's cool to see them pushing genetics back into a landrace. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's just all over the United States. It's unique.
It's beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So
shout out to all those homies. I very much am excited to try some of that shit at Emerald Coat.
Yep.
Because, you know, we out here in Utah. And, you know, we don't have shit like that here.
But
There's not a lot of
But-
land race strains.
no.
Or genetics or people that cultivate that. Or
Yeah.
are going for that here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is there are a couple of people in Utah that do look for them that have a pretty nice little span of genetics that they're playing with, which is really nice. But you are right, it's one of the ones that gets tapered back and isn't a priority for a lot of growers because the yield isn't there. But that's the issue with landrace genetics is yield. You know? And that's something that like the prayer tower or the prayer glue, 78 Affy times pupil, star pupil, that having a new genetic that's been stabilized to help bring in vigor and density and overall bud quality.
Because that's what they'd be doing over time, right? Like just keep making, you know, like with genetics, making buds bigger and bigger, more dense and more dense. So of course a land race would be, you know, not as dense, a little fluffier,
a little bit more
less yield, but
not quite as pretty of a nug,
right.
but the diversity and the overall flavor
and
expression.
terpenes.
Yeah, thiols, alkalines, sulfurs. The composure of a landrace is much more complex than most. And that's where you get some of the more, like, you hear a lot of the OGs talk about these trippy or, like, hypnotic states that they would get put into by their cannabis, and it's because most of the time they were smoking on strains that came straight from Afghanistan. These were veterans that brought strains back to California, like seeds back to California, grew them in Humboldt County, and started ripping packs.
The true source.
Yeah, so that's and that's when it was cut to like, and that's when you hear the stories of like, oh, I could tell when somebody was coming around the block if they had an ounce in their pocket of some sour D. They're like, oh yeah, I knew that they were coming, and like shit like that. You'd hear those kind of stories from that era. And in my opinion, I think it's because they did have landrace genetics. They were smoking on some of the most fire. But they'll tell you, it was ugly. And they said, are we just way prettier now? And it's because we breed for prettiness. We eat with our eyes, shop with our eyes, you know? So that's why, in my opinion, we've ended up cultivating a lot of these more bag-of-pill strains. Not necessarily complex.
I eat with my nose.
You do? Me too, dude. I'm a nose guy. I'm a heavy nose guy.
Hell yeah, dude. Do you guys
Nose.
Do you guys ever smell your food before you eat it?
Oh, yeah.
All the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
man.
People
say,
people
like-
ask me, they're like, why do you smell it? I'm like, cause it's fucking
That's
food.
the first
I want to
taste.
smell how good it is.
Yeah, they say like your smell
You fucking
contributes
weirdo.
No, it's
contributes
supposed
to like 90.
It's supposed to enhance the taste. If you open a drink and then first smell the drink and then take a drink, you're able to taste it.
You taste it more,
More,
because
yeah.
they say your
It's all connected.
smell like actually like what it's like
Activates the salivate-
it's 70% of your taste is contributed to like your nose and
Yeah.
like, the taste.
Since I like to smoke so much, my taste kind of sucks now. So yeah, like if I really want to like smell when I like smoke, I have to blow it out of my nose to taste it. So that's why whenever we're trying a new strain, if you ever notice, usually my first hit is out my nose, so I can actually taste like what that strain tastes like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's fucking proof.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah. There's the science right there.
Nose.
I did the experiment for you.
Human trials.
We be smoking with our noses. Blindfold me and I'll pick up the fattest, the gassiest shit, the The gases shit. The gus
The loudest.
Like the fucking fire shit.
That's Sophie's breathing on you, dude. We're smoking some Sophie's breath right now.
Oh yeah. Some good old Sophie's breath.
Yeah,
Stain,
Sophie's
that's,
breathing on you right now.
Feeling it. That warm breath. That warm breath all over me, dude.
I feel pretty good, dude.
Wait,
I got like a buzz going.
but we hit that spicy cookies too though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
spicy cookies was delicious.
That one was nice.
That one's
It
good.
was ready for him, not on one.
Hey boys, I'm ready to take one down, pass it around.
I'm down.
Well,
This was a great session.
yeah, we really appreciate you guys tuning into UCC today. Just a quick little update on where culture is at. Nothing too special, but
Yeah,
we
that
love-
crazy LA Times article. We'll link some more information.
Yeah.
In the details about that article, so you guys can read it up on yourself and you know think about what you think about it. Let us know what your thoughts on it is in the comments.
Shout out to all the support that we've been getting. It's been really amazing seeing the love and everybody just listening in. Like, it really shows up and means a lot for me.
Yeah, me
Hearing
too.
the people come to me and tell me about certain parts of the episode that they enjoyed. Really love that.
Yeah, if you guys are listening, appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
And that's about it. UCC what it is. This is Gabe.
This is JJ.
Xantone.
It's Javi.
UCC what it is. Peace out, y'all. Follow us on Instagram, on all your socials, on all your shits. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.